Listen, I ain't got no beef, no enemies. Call all my haters motivators, cause they can't touch me. Been in this business for a minute, that's a long time. If you was looking for me, you can find me on my grind. I'm on a mission, no competition for this rap king. I bet you think my crown, it must have happened in your dreams. I'm about to make the world.
Greetings, YouTube. Alain Lennox back at you from right here at the Green Thumb Gardening Channel here in Grove Zone 8B, Tifton, Georgia. And in today's video, we'd like to bring you guys along with us back over to both Little Creek Homestead and the Red Shed as we conduct our very first strike shelling pea harvest at Little Creek Homestead and our fourth yellow wax bean harvest at the Red Shed. Hang tight as I spin this camera around for you guys, YouTube. We're going to get this harvest video on the way. All right, YouTube, here we are indeed at Little Creek Homestead. It has been approximately 30 days since we planted our strike shelling peas here at Little Creek Homestead. And before I show you what this planter currently looks like, I'm going to give you guys a flashback to what Little Creek Homestead looked like when we saw the very first signs of seed germination here in our dear friend Vicky's planter. Take a look at this, YouTube. And this, YouTube, this is indeed what Little Creek Homestead and our dear friend Vicky's strike shelling peas currently look like right here, right now, at the Green Thumb Gardening Channel, Grove Zone 8B, right here in Tifton, Georgia. Bam. Take you guys in for a close-up. If you recall correctly, we planted 44 strike shelling pea seeds here in this planter. And as you can see, every single bush in this planter is currently in need of having its beans harvested. We have Mrs. Rosendahl out here in the garden with us today. She's going to actually conduct the harvest as I hold this camera for you guys and narrate this video. Mrs. Rosendahl. And give you guys a linear view of what this planter currently looks like as Mrs. Rosendahl gets out here and harvests the majority of the strike shelling peas that we currently have on our strike shelling pea plants here at Little Creek Homestead. We have some pretty nice looking, nice size, fully formed strike shelling peas here on our plants. Probably only going to get about a handful or so on this particular harvest. Again, this is our very first harvest of strike shelling peas from our dear friend Vicky's planter here at Little Creek Homestead. And we're very, very excited to be out here harvesting our strike shelling peas. Go ahead. Again, we planted these strike shelling peas here, about 30 days ago, YouTube, approximately 30 days ago. And this is indeed our first harvest of strike shelling peas from our dear friend Vicky's planter here at Little Creek Homestead. My dear friend Vicky, this one is indeed for you. And we can't be more pleased by what we currently see out here in your planter. Go ahead and take those two right there also. Come out this way, right there. And one next to it. And this one right here. This is what our strike shelling pea plants look like after the harvest. As you can see, we still have several smaller size strike shelling peas remaining on our plants. A lot of blossoms, a lot of smaller strike shelling peas. And this is what our harvest currently looks like from Little Creek Homestead and our strike shelling peas. Next up, YouTube. We'll take you guys next door over to the red shed and our dear friend Holly's planter. This is again our 2 foot by 6 foot main Hugo Country Garden planter. And before we show you what it currently looks like, YouTube, this is what the red shed looked like when we saw the very first signs of seed germination in our dear friend Holly's planter. And this, YouTube, this is indeed what our dear friend Holly's planter, the red shed, currently looks like with her yellow wax beans. Take a look at this, YouTube. Bam. You guys see that? All of our bush bean plants are currently loaded. Again, this will be our 4th consecutive harvest of yellow wax beans from these plants. Front row and back row. We just harvested our most recent harvest from this planter approximately 2 days ago, and we're back out here 2 days later, YouTube, about to harvest these yellow wax beans again. This is growth at all. Again, our plants are loaded. It's our 4th harvest. And we're super excited to see how many bush beans these plants are producing out here. Again, every couple of days, we have to come out here and harvest. If you haven't ever tasted these yellow wax beans, they have a quite delicious flavor. Again, we received these seeds from our dear friends Mark and Tina up at Bumblebee Junction in Eastern Tennessee as part of a package last season to help us jumpstart our channel here in Grow Zone 8B. Mark and Tina, again, thank you guys so much for everything that you have currently done for us and our channel up to this point. We really appreciate both of you. We've learned so much from you two, and wish you guys all the best up there at Bumblebee Junction in Eastern Tennessee. Recall from our planting video on this particular planter, we planted a total of 46 bush bean seeds here in this planter. We had a total of 44 of those 46 bush bean seeds to actually germinate. And we were super excited about the rate at which these seeds that are actually a product of Johnny's selected seeds up in Winslow, Maine, germinated here for us in our 2-foot by 6-foot Maine hugelkultur garden planter. Three days at the most, conducting another harvest out here at the Red Shed, and probably also over here at Little Creek Homestead. Both of these varieties tend to grow very fast and produce a lot of beans and peas. As we found out last year when we planted these in our 2-foot by 18-inch hugelkultur garden planter, and these in our 2-foot by 4-foot hugelkultur garden planter last year. Again, this is indeed our 4th harvest of yellow wax beans here at the Red Shed. And these beans have really surprised me by the amount of beans that they produce. Again, can you guys see that, YouTube? There are literally yellow wax beans everywhere on every single bush in this planter. When we planted our bush bean seeds here, we actually fertilized our soil here with a little bit of blood and bone. You guys know we always add composted cow manure to our beds when we amend our soil in the spring in preparation for whatever we're about to plant in our beds. So we did add a little blood and bone to our soil during the initial planting. We've only came back since that initial planting and fertilized our yellow wax beans one time with a little bone meal. We know that these beans are nitrogen fixing plants. They don't need nitrogen once they begin to flower. What they really need is that phosphorus and calcium going on, and that's exactly what you get when you add that bone meal to your soil. As you can see, our plants are still a pretty deep green. They're still flowering, still producing beans. And with this being our 4th harvest, we came back a few days ago in another one of our planters over at Bumblebee Junction. That was a vacant planter. We didn't have anything planted in it at the time. We actually planted 4 additional rows of these yellow wax beans over there at Bumblebee Junction. I'm gonna take you guys over there to Bumblebee Junction and show you those at the very first sign of seed germination in our yellow wax beans at Bumblebee Junction. We're about 3/4 of the way down our planter here, and our harvest is beginning to look pretty good here, Mrs. Rosedall. Still has quite a way to go down there, and we'll bring you guys back and show you the total of our harvest at the end of this video. Again, we're super excited to see how well our yellow wax beans have performed here in this partially shaded location in our 2-foot by 6-foot Maine hugelkultur garden planter. This is our oldest and most well-built planter here in our front yard garden extended grow area. This planter is about 3 years old now, and everything that we tend to plant in this planter does extremely well for us here at the Green Thumb Gardening Channel. These yellow wax beans are again an example of how well things tend to grow here in this planter. These yellow wax beans are both easy to plant, easy to grow. They grow extremely rapidly and they produce beans extremely rapidly. You can succession plant these beans here about 2 weeks apart for continuous harvest all during the spring and summer months here in your garden. This is the back row back there, and again, these plants are just loaded, YouTube, with yellow wax beans. It is our 4th harvest of yellow wax beans from here at the Red Shed. And previously we harvested our very first harvest of strike shelling peas from Little Creek Homestead and our dear friend Vicky's planter over there. Alright, YouTube, I think that is about it. This is Roosevelt. We're going to do a final once over in our planter to see if she missed anything. And if she did, she'll go ahead on and grab those few that she missed. And once she's done, I'll give you guys a quick peek at what the Red Shed looks like after the harvest. YouTube, I think that's about it. I'll give you guys a once over at what the Red Shed currently looks like after the harvest. Came through, we harvested all of our ripe yellow wax beans from these plants. As you can see, we're left with various sized wax beans in various stages of development still on our plants. We still have blossoms forming on our plants, and we do indeed expect to be back out here for the next 2 to 3, maybe 4 days at the most, harvesting another harvest of yellow wax beans from the Red Shed and our dear friend Holly's planter. Again, YouTube, this is what Little Creek Homestead looks like after the harvest. Came through, we harvested all of our strike shelling peas from these plants. As you can see, we're left with blossoms and smaller strike shelling peas in various stages of development on all of our plants out here. And we do indeed expect to be back out here within the next 4 to 5 days, conducting another harvest of striped shelling peas from Little Creek Homestead. This YouTube is what our final harvest looks like from both Little Creek Homestead and the Red Shed. We have not quite a half a bowl of striped shelling peas and yellow wax beans, and we can't be possibly more pleased by our harvest from Little Creek Homestead and the Red Shed. Thanks for watching this video, YouTube, and if indeed you currently are watching this video and you're not already subscribed to the Green Thumb Gardening channel, please take this moment to press that subscribe button beneath this video, that like button, that notification button, and be sure to share this video with your friends and family as well. Yeah, harvesting striped shelling peas from Little Creek Homestead and yellow wax beans from the Red Shed. Thanks for watching.
Ain't out here dissing, I ain't got no beef, no enemies. Call all my haters motivators, cause they can't touch me. Been in this business for a minute, that's a long time. That you was looking for me, you can find me on my grind. I'm on a mission, no competition for this rap king. I bet you took my crown, it must have happened in your dreams. I'm about to make the world feel me like the last time. So I make the microphone smoke when I say what's on my mind. It was 8 years ago when I first hit the rap scene. It was 2019 and I got the whole world listening. They gather around me to keep me warm from all the heat I bring. And I tell you so why y'all haters out there hating me. Why y'all hating? 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 This instrumental remind me of Frankie Beverly and May. So I'm taking you back when rap was real in the old days. More than a man, I'm like a lion trying to expand. And the world's against me, so I came up with a different plan. No more 9 to 5 working for the other man. And don't trust the media, my destiny is in my hand. Done came a long way from where this lion first began. Won't let nobody make me hate the color of my skin. No matter where we're from, America is where we live. Ain't out here dissing others, but I'ma tell it like it is. Everybody say they praying for some better days, but this world will never change until we stop the hate. Why y'all